Just checking the audio. Stephen was being assaulted by the microphone there, weren't you, Stephen?
We're talking about
Yes. That sounded like a phone ringing.
well, hello and welcome into this Monday's edition of Entertainment News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our other co-host, John C. Walsh, is here as well, and he's wearing a trucker's hat. He's
Walsh.
Just done a shift on the truck.
Peter Weller. I mentioned Peter Weller. I think it was during one of the tier lists.
Yeah.
Paul Weller. I was going on about a haircut. That's Peter Weller there as RoboCop.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever wore a trucker hat.
Basically a slap head with a trucker hat.
I've ever done that.
Yeah, they're nice. They've got a nice vintage.
Nice airy thing to have in the summer, I suppose.
Yes,
yeah.
minus fucking 3 degrees or whatever in
John,
Glasgow.
I've got a couple of the what do you call those other hats? The ones that have got the flat sort of.
The sort of 5 panel.
You know the one that's got the flat bit here? It's just
flat brim.
It's not like curved.
Yeah.
And I just don't suit them. I've not got the head for it at all.
That's I used to try and rock that back in the day unsuccessfully. I
look
look back at photos of myself now and I fucking cringe. I cringe a lot for myself during my 20s in general because it was a dark period. I thought I was cool. I thought I was ahead of the curve. Fucking Patriots everything.
I look
Patriots
like,
hat, Patriots hoodie, Patriots t-shirt.
I look like Casey Jones with one of the hats. I look like a train driver. John, just to knock your confidence even further, your youngest niece was going through your Facebook profile pics, killing herself laughing. Just randomly tonight, laughing. She kept swiping every time she swiped. She would just burst out laughing.
Is that my profile picture?
I think you get about 18 of them.
Yeah,
so
I have, yeah.
Everyone was different.
Yeah.
You had a beard, you didn't have a beard, you had long hair, you didn't have long hair.
Right back to when I was 21, I think.
It's just
20,
getting to
21.
see you getting younger and younger. She was just hee-haw laughing. It was so funny.
No wonder I laugh now as well.
But anyway, I'm sure it wasn't personal.
I've aged like fine wine. I feel I'm much better than... I'd say my 21-year-old self was probably a bit better. But after that, it was just a fucking roller coaster.
I'm very conscious of this mic.
This microphone is a sneeze away from falling onto Stephen's lap.
So that's why it's that kind of weird angle, and I'm kind of sitting at a weird angle. I'm
like
kinda,
John Fitzgerald Kennedy's head.
Yeah.
The back of his head.
Yeah.
I've seen that. They showed me that in school back in the day.
Oh,
that's the education I got.
If that.
I wasn't prepared.
Oh.
I had curry sauce and chips for my lunch. And then I seen his brain matter hitting his wife's flap.
And we all saw the curry sauce and chips again.
We did.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to talk about John Wick. John, I know that you're going to see this at the end of the week. You have asked me to go along. I don't know. I'm going to
IMAX.
I love Keanu Reeves. I love John Wick, but I just think
I was going to go this weekend, but I couldn't be fucked.
I said this to you, John. I said
So I'll go next weekend.
it's very much like the Taken franchise in terms of not ever diminishing returns. That's a bit harsh. I did like 1, I did like 3, 2 was it was okay. I don't know, I just don't have the sort of buzz for it. Maybe I will once I think about it a wee bit more, but
it's supposed to be epic, Steve.
yeah, and I did like the trailers as well, so and I know it's been getting really good feedback.
95% I think in Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, well, John, there's a secret John Wick universe apparently movie in development after record-breaking weekend. This is from Screen Rant. Pretty soon, guys, I'm going to be saying this is coming in from our website, because we're nearly there. We're getting to a point where we're actually doing our own articles in real time, so we will maybe pull our own website up at one point once we've
I was tempted to do it the other day.
Since we've crafted it a wee bit better, but it still needs a bit of work in terms of graphics. John, I need to sign up to Getty Images, that's the thing. But anyway,
that costs a bomb, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It does. I don't know. I mean, you could I've seen the prices for like just isolated images, like £250.
Yeah.
So I use it once. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do with that? Make a poster of it and
Yep.
keep it in my room? I don't think so. But anyway, the John Wick universe is set to expand with another secret new film now in the works following John Wick Chapter 4's strong box office performance.
To be fair, Stephen, I don't think these guys are doing that. I think they're just taking images off of Google.
Yeah.
And doing shite edits. I mean, I could do
I
that
don't
in
think
fucking
you
2
can.
seconds.
I don't think you can nail a copyright on that, surely.
Because that ceased to be an image long ago. That's just an artistic fucking.
Yeah.
Shite
I think as
artistic
well,
impression.
if you're taking images straight from film as well, we don't know where the source is, the original source. So everybody's the internet's a fucking sham. Let's be honest.
It is.
It's just a free for all.
It's getting shiter and shiter by the day.
But anyway, it's still unclear if Keanu Reeves and director Chad Stahelski. Well, I remember the last time I said this guy. I was struggling. I was actually. It's just that bit there. I was just saying his name, but I was stuttering it every time. I went
Stahelski Chad
will routine with for a 5th movie, but Reeves is set to appear as the titular assassin at least one more time in the upcoming.
Anybody, I couldn't even spell fucking article last night.
Anna,
I was stroking out.
The Harmis-led spin-off Ballerina. I didn't know anything about this. But now in a recent interview with Collider, producer Erica Lee reveals that Lionsgate is developing a new movie in the John Wick universe. Although Reeves and Stahelski have hinted that John Wick Chapter 4 could be the final chapter for them, the door is still open for more stories. And Lee seems optimistic that Joe will return for another entry. This is what they had to say. There's another film that we're developing that I think we'll be announcing in the next, say, month or two. Then I'm hopeful there's a Ballerina 2 and John Wick 5 and lots of other things. But we're developing a lot of stuff and having a lot of discussions with a lot of writers and brand management, and Wick Universe is my utmost priority. John, Parabellum had the character Halle Berry.
Yes, it did indeed. We had it on last night.
I think perhaps maybe it's mentioned somewhere here that could be the possible spin-off film. Now I would have to get back and look at the Sophia character.
Is that I don't remember her name,
but
I remember it being in the movie because of course I think it's the Casablanca. I'm sure it's Casablanca scene, and that's when we get the 2 Belgian dogs unleashing utter carnage upon multiple sets of gonads.
That's a trademark of John Wick films. So.
Yeah, dogs.
Ian McShane. Yeah, you got a dog in your balls. What was that from?
I don't know.
John Kerry, Kick-Ass 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd loved that. Ian McShane, John Winston. He's obviously getting his own prequel series, isn't it? It's not a film. It's like a web series called The Continental.
Is that still happening?
Apparently, I mean, it's been very quiet though, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've been discussing this for about 5 years now.
So,
Continental.
Maybe it is off the table. I don't know.
No, it really should. He's already getting, as you can see there, his own spin-off, a prequel series called The Continental. Also with the sad passing of your man, I'm blanking on his name. Terrible. That's going to be a little bit trickier. Maybe have to look at recasting or explaining his absence. It's annoying me that I can't remember his name. He's just passed away last week. I was speaking about him literally 2 days before he passed away, and it shocked me tremendously. And the news broke. Brilliant guy, he's been in a lot of stuff, The Wire. Not even really discussed that on this channel. Really sad loss, that guy. Really fit, healthy, vibrant guy. And fucking really sad news that he's passed away, man. But he was a big sort of. He was almost a. I don't know if you'd call him the humanity in the movie, but he was a really big presence.
Yeah,
in the franchise.
Yeah,
so
he was in all the films.
He was. So if you've got a Continental spin-off TV show, and he is the concierge in the Continental, that's a huge fucking hole.
Lance Reddick, yeah.
Lance Reddick. How the fuck do you forget Lance Reddick's name? Terrible. But yeah, I still can't believe that guy's no longer with us. That was sad news, man. And really, all the more poignant that he's popping up in promotional stuff.
Yeah.
It was filmed about a week prior to his death, and you're seeing him, you're like, oh, fucking hell, he's no longer here. But yeah, but the spin-off stuff, Steve, it's very interesting, but I kinda cringe when I'm hearing John Wick universe, because Steve, we spoke about it. That was almost like Vader there. It's a bit fucking strange. We spoke about it before we came on air.
Yeah.
On the broadcast. Everybody seems to like John Wick to varying degrees. I don't think there's anyone out there that dislikes it. It's hard to dislike this franchise because it's just pure, unadulterated revenge. It's flick. It's about to say porn. Kinda is. It's just sheer unadulterated fucking action. Keanu Reeves creating body counts that Michael Myers would be in awe of. Killing people. I mean, I watched Parabellum last night. The book scene is epic.
Yeah.
Just some of the stuff that happens in these movies, phenomenal. And Keanu just puts blood, sweat and tears into it. He works his balls off to get the training. So it's realistic. It's not like he's got a stunt double coming in. This guy is driving the cars, he's wielding the guns, and he's proficient with it. But having said that, as good as it is, and as much as people like the movies to varying degrees, I think most people would agree that the best movie, I've not seen this one yet, this one may be better, but the best movie is still the first one.
Yeah.
And it's the simplicity with the human story, the wife, the dog, bring them back out of retirement, in a sense, bring them back into this mucky world, and the vengeance that he unleashes. That's to me still the best one. And I've accepted the spin-off, the sequels, and expanding the universe out. It's very interesting, adding to the mythology, adding all of these colourful characters, brilliant actors coming in. But when you start talking about expanded universes, that gets me fucking worried. Because we've seen other studios attempting expanded universes. DC, Universal's Monster Universe, they've all flopped. So it worries me when you start deviating from Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
What are you going to get?
John, what do you think it'll be?
Well, I mean, the Sophia character is an interesting one. Halle Berry's also a very good actress. Very marketable, if I can say it. Get my teeth in. Marketable. Some words I can't say. Edited. I have to speak like a sort of posh English person. Edited to say it. So that'd be an interesting spin-off. Depending on the actual characters that pop up in this movie, Stephen, we know Donnie Yen's in there, playing an old friend come foe of John Wick. They're always introducing interesting, colourful figures. There's so many characters you could go off and tell a story about. But it's John Wick. It's Keanu Reeves. It's him we're coming to see. And when you start deviating and going off and telling side character stories, the chances of flopping, the chances of failure increase demonstrably. We've seen it with The Conjuring.
It's watered down stuff, isn't it? It's as you said,
Hello, Biffa, incidentally.
Yeah, hi. It's watered down characters. It's characters that serve a purpose within a main sort of stream franchise, and they're trying to branch off and try to sort of pull the same sort of tricks that they did that made the actual original stuff work. But what they're forgetting is that John Wick, when it first came out, was, I mean, John, we've seen so many revenge films over the years, spanning back even further maybe than Death Wish with Charles Bronson, but there was something different about this one. It was comic book almost. It was like leaping out of a comic book, and
that club scene. Yeah,
I mean, and as you said, you mentioned it as well, that not ever diminishing returns on the sequels, just not as good, but still good, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I maintain the third one, Parabellum, is better than the second.
Yeah. So I mean, the
that's
sequels,
worse than the first.
Yeah, I think so. I think
not much in it, but for me, the first is the best.
Yeah.
By all accounts, Stephen, this one very good.
Yeah.
John Wick Chapter 4, outstanding. Highest Rotten Tomatoes score of all of them, both critical and audience scores, within a percentile of each other, percentage of each other.
Are you interested
so
in
really
this ballerina, John? This Anna de Armas?
Spoke about that the other week, Stephen. Yeah, Anna de Armas is a great actress.
Yeah.
Keep getting back to Knives Out. But if you're over or outshining Chris Evans, Michael Shannon, Christopher Plummer, Toni Collette, and I'm sure there's other ones in there. Don Johnson.
Yeah.
You've got a cast like that, and you're a relative newcomer.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
and you're outshining them with your performance. You have got something special in terms of acting talent. Not really seen her doing action, I'm not going to lie. Has she been in action? I want to say she has been in another
in the
action.
Grey Man?
She may have been.
Yeah, I think she
I've
was
not
in
seen
the
the
Grey
Grey
Man.
Man
Yeah,
yet.
I've not seen it either, John.
It's interesting, Steve. It's an interesting concept.
Marlon, didn't she? She did the Marlon.
Yeah, she did. Marilyn,
yeah.
She played. I've not seen that either. Because Steve, I'm not really interested in Marilyn Monroe.
No.
She's this borderline urban legend at this point. I've heard her story time and time again. I've not really got an interest in her. No harm to her. I know she was a very interesting character, floated in really interesting circles in an era of Hollywood which is glorified to the point where it's just excessive. The golden era, the pin-up stars, things like that. I'm not really interested in, by all accounts, the movie, a semi-rewriting of history, sort of whitewashing elements of our story.
That's normally what happens, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
They did it with the Johnny Cash film as well.
They did, yeah.
Walk the Line, yeah.
That's not an Anna de Armas, to be fair. She was in No Time to Die. I've not seen No Time to Die yet either. Yeah. You see the fucking theme here? We lost a year of cinema, Western cinema, and we've tried to remedy that this year by going and watching more of Western cinema.
Have, to be fair,
2022 was fucking 2021.
Yeah.
There's like a year missing. I have to see No Time to Die. I wanted to go and see that in the fucking theatres. It was Daniel Craig's last Bond.
As well as obviously lockdown and whatever else that was going on, we were doing a lot of watch-alongs as well that took a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's not the bread and butter of the channel or anything like that, but certainly it's a major pull for the channel to do watch-alongs as well. So,
Biffa, how did she do it? I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Because that will obviously give us an insight into how she could potentially handle a John Wick movie, because it's not the same, but it's the same genre. It's action, and she's playing a sort of, I don't know, sort of frenetic, highly mobile individual.
Not seen the fourth instalment yet, John, and I know obviously rumours are circling and spoilers are going about at the moment. Fair enough. French movie fan, yeah, good genre. I would have to say that it really depends on how this film ends as well. And
technically, that is Western cinema, though. Biffa.
Yeah,
French.
I think a lot of people regard America. As West. It depends where we are. I mean, obviously, we've got obviously audience members from India, then we're the West, you know, and America are the far West. I don't know. Or maybe they're East.
I don't want to insult, in case you are a Frenchman, I don't want to insult the French by putting them in the same category as the United States. I know they've got a real sort of abhorrence towards all things American culture, perhaps more than anybody in the European continent. They seem to have a real hatred for American culture, the obnoxiousness, the shite food that they like to eat at times. So I don't want to be fucking lumping America in with France.
And we'll not even get into that discussion of a French fry, its origins.
Yeah, Belgian. I don't think the French even want French fries. They've got good enough cuisine as it is. They don't need the French fry. They've got fucking everything else, let's be honest. They know how to cook. Yeah. Do the French. And I prefer Germany as a sort of country, because I just love German football and culture.
NYC.
I'm a Chinese man from NYC, so I've just insulted you as well now. Sorry. I'm just keep insulting people. I've assumed you were a Frenchman who perhaps hates American culture, and you're a Chinese man from America. I do apologise.
Listen, perhaps Biffa, you could maybe recommend some French films to us that we could have a wee look at and see, maybe do a watch along or whatever. But if you want to do that, that'd be appreciated, because we don't really know a lot of French films, like authentic French movie. I don't know any at all. Can't any off the top of my head. Can't think any.
I know there's some
French
legendary
based
there's
ones,
legendary,
but not authentic French movie. I don't know.
There's some legendary directors, isn't there, from France?
Yeah, so
who've created some of the greatest cinema ever. But yeah, I'm completely ignorant.
I'm ignorant as well, John. The only person that stands out for me, I don't know if he's a director. I know he was an actor. Was Gerard Depardieu. But apart from him,
a bit of a prick.
I don't really know. I don't really know too much about the French sort of.
Oh, I mean,
movie making industry.
There's a trilogy you probably know better than me, Biffa. I think it's a coloured, different colours, 3 movies trilogy. I think it's red, yellow, something. I'd need to look into it, but a legendary trilogy of movies made by some sort of icon of film.
Yeah.
Your man would know, Tarantino would know it. I'm sure the likes
Oh yeah, definitely.
the other
John, I don't have too
really
much more to
invested.
say. I was going to move on, but
Yeah, just even like John Wick, movie development, the more you start deviating from Keanu, the bigger the chances are of failure
yeah,
in this franchise. People are coming to see him.
Yep.
It's called John Wick for a reason. It's this sort of bog standard one-man army type character who's taking on really interesting, colourful, different individuals. You've got Donnie Yen, you've got fucking your man, God, what's he called? Sort of singer, come actor, bald guy. What's he fucking called again?
Can't remember.
I don't know, he wasn't in the last one.
Yeah.
You've got different fighting styles, you've got different characters popping into this franchise, and he's taking them all on. So it's also Skarsgård's coming in as well, he's a renowned actor. That's what we come to see. We come to see this guy up against it. When
Yeah.
you start getting off and taking
But
interesting side characters and
you
trying to
mentioned
give
it,
them
John.
prominence.
You mentioned it about the singer guy. He wasn't in the last one.
What's his name? I'll
Did
find
it
him.
make a big difference to the John Wick experience?
No, because you were here for Keanu
If you
Reeves.
take Ian McShane out for maybe one film, would it ruin the John Wick experience? Perhaps. Yeah, be a little missing thing in there, but it would still be an enjoyable film. You're absolutely right. It's all about Keanu Reeves at the end of the day. That's who we've came to see.
Common.
You Common, yeah.
Common.
Yeah, Common, yeah.
Common. He was in there, played a sort of hitman type figure.
Yep.
Obviously, they had their little truce in the Continental. You've got all these different interesting characters coming in, hitmen coming in, hitwomen coming in,
Yeah.
and that's what we want to see.
Hit
We want to see hit people. We want to see John Wick taking them on.
Yeah.
That's why we watch these movies. It's simplistic, it's popcorn action. It's never going to win an Oscar, let's be honest, but it's just solid action cinema. And when you start bringing in the likes of Ana de Armas, as good as she is and as excited as I could potentially be for Ballerina, depending on how it develops and how the news starts circulating regarding it, part of me just wants it to stay on Keanu.
Yeah.
Part of me wants it to end at 4, because the more they keep on, they're pushing it, it will diminish. I don't know what to make of a secret movie in development. It would depend on what it's going to fixate on, where it's going to take place, if there is a genuine need for it. I'm not for making universes for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It's overdone,
I know.
and there's only one that's really got it right, and now they're starting to get it wrong as well.
Yeah.
Mark Dacascos. I've butchered that.
Marcus
I've butchered that pronunciation, and I know I have. But I'm going to search it up.
Yeah.
No.
He was in chapter 3.
Yeah, he was in chapter 3. Yeah, that's another example. That's another example of one coming in. Was that the guy that was... trying to remember the end of chapter 3. I watched the start of it last night. I didn't see it through at the end. I'm trying to remember what he... Was he the guy at the end in the glass sort of penthouse? When he fought him? I think that was the guy. That was fucking epic. This was what we want to see.
Yeah.
With these movies, you want to see John coming up against these kind of figures. Just keep it simple. That's why it works.
That's
it's
why
simple.
it works. Yeah.
Keanu's simple in the best way possible. I'm not trying to say he's a simpleton. I'm just saying he's a nice, simple actor doing simple work. Don't overcomplicate it.
You don't have to. That's the thing.
Don't do it.
That's the thing about the original film. They didn't have to do
And
that.
it's the best.
It was very straightforward. Revenge film. Good guy versus the bad guys. That's all you need. But
Well,
anyway.
Holden Cup, nobody.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Bruce
exactly.
Willis,
Yeah.
Death Wish.
Yep.
It's really fucking simple.
Yeah. Exactly.
It really is.
Keep it simple. It's all you need. But anyway, John, we're going to move on to our
Shall.
next topic now, and it's Joker 2. And Joker 2 set photos confirm major change to
See
Lady
this?
Gaga's Harley Quinn.
These topic bars are going. They're
Are they
shit.
changing it
Yeah,
again?
they're rubbish.
So
Font's too big, it's too wide. They're going.
this is coming in from Screen Rant once more, and
Scream it.
Philippe Rangel. I'll say, I was going to say Rangel,
Philippe-
but I think it's
Philippe
Rangel.
Rangel.
Yeah.
Rangel.
Joker Folie à Deux
Felipe.
will include a major change to Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, as set photos confirm a recent rumour from the movie. The sequel to the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, Joker 2 introduces Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn as a co-protagonist alongside Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck. Phoenix won the Best Actor Oscar for his turn in the first movie, and the sequel appears to be giving its actors interesting material, with Arkham Asylum on fire in recent set photos, and major change on the way for Harley Quinn. Now, if you would just scroll down, we can see this first photo.
Gaga
John.
images.
Yeah, do you know something? I was kind of down doubtful whether or not I would like her to be playing this role. And the more I think about it, the more I see photos, I went, she's ideal for this kind of role.
Love
she really is.
the rip and the sort of tights.
She's got an unhinged demeanour about her anyway, so that's me being polite, by the way. But
she looks very, very, very beige here for Harley Quinn.
The newspaper both confirms that Gaga will indeed be playing Harley Quinn and not a character inspired by the DC anti-heroine, while also signalling a major change to the villain. A Joker Foley Adieu rumour claimed that Harley Quinn would not meet the Joker as his doctor, like in her original first appearance, but rather both characters would be patients at Arkham, which the newspaper proves. John, this wouldn't surprise me because I'm blanking on the director's name.
Todd
Phillips. He took the Joker character and personalised him, made him a human, a living, breathing human before he became what we all know as the Joker. And he's doing exactly the same with the Harley Quinn. He's not following page by page, window by window, a comic book. This is how I need to marry this up to make my movie. He's taking inspiration from the comics and creating his own gritty world. We've seen it in the first film, John. By all accounts, this is more of a musical. I don't mind that.
And I'm glad he's did this.
Yeah.
Because he get criticised for remaking Martin Scorsese movies. With the first one, most people seem to come out of the theatres watching the original Joker, praising it. Says it was a brilliant performance from Joaquin, rightly, as Arthur Fleck, this really troubled guy. Then it descended into a sort of meme about this as a society. I think that's what it was, this society. What was the thing, you remember what I'm talking about? This is a society. I think that was the meme. He kept mentioning society, how it was broken and it wasn't looking after people. It became a meme and then people started criticising it come the sort of award season, coming into the actual Oscars. And then when it got nominated and it started winning things, it was full-blown hatred. It's the sort of human condition stuff that you get every time something's successful. There's something within the mentality of humans. They love it and then they're ambivalent towards it, then they get sick of it, then they get resentment and start hating on it, and then they go back to kind of liking it again, then they love it, and then it's full fucking cycle. The reality is it wasn't outstanding and it wasn't utter shite. It was a good to great movie for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting new take on a historic villain. Joaquin Phoenix, perfectly cast in the role. We've seen this guy doing these roles many times before. Likes of Her, I think it was. There's another one that I love where a little kid's abducted, he goes and saves her. Really dark, interesting, introspective sort of character.
From a
he
story
just gets into it.
telling point of view as well, John. I liked what they did from the sort of perspective of the Arthur Fleck character. We were having to take his word on these versions of events, which I thought was a great ride. It's fantastic, isn't it? Just great footage.
Vibes of
Crazy in Love.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yeah, Harley
Carter.
Frances Quinzel. I didn't know that was her name.
Quinzel.
So that's Harley Quinn. I don't know if that's maybe just made up for this, like Arthur Fleck. I don't know. Maybe somebody can comment on that. But
no, John, but you're right, Stephen. The narration.
Yeah, I just thought, what do we believe here? You know, we're seeing him up telling jokes. Everyone's laughing in this pub. He goes back to is it Zazie Beetz character? Her house has a date and all that, and I'm believing this as it's happening, and then I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this happening? Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
it was a fantasy.
Why am I taking this guy's word for it? And then he's obviously, I think the bit that confirmed it for me was when he was sitting in the audience at the Robert De Niro's character's chat show, and he's bringing them down, you know, to talk to him. I'm like, nah, this isn't real. This they've just went too far now. I was believing the date, but I wasn't believing
living in the house with his mother, and obviously when he kills the mother, that sort of frees him up, and he becomes this character, and then he just descends into madness thereafter. He was always mad, but
that's the Murray scene, isn't it?
That is the Murray scene, because he looks, doesn't he, after he shoots him, because you can actually see, I think, the blood potentially. Maybe not. But Steve, the actual concept, as I was saying before I went off on a fucking mental tangent, I like the fact that he's doing this, because he get criticised for rehashing Scorsese's, what was it, Kings of Comedy, and I think it was Taxi Driver, were the two that get the inspiration, that he gained inspiration for this first Joker movie. The fact he's now going off and doing a musical is different. It's not really going to be inspired by any other movie that came before. It's the same character, and he's doing something, as you says, original from the comics.
John,
That could go one of two ways. It could go really fucking bad, or it could be really special.
As much as it's going to be a musical, it's still going to have that unsettling, unhinged darkness to it as well.
No, I mean, musicals don't have to be fluffy and airy.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to this. I was so happy when they decided they were going to do a sequel and not be tempted to take it in a direction that's going to connect to anything to do with Batman or anything to do with anything else DC. They have to move my mic because that's going to be. You may have to put some kind of graphic up on my side while I do it. Okay.
Yeah, it's always my fucking mic. I don't know why my mic's always
good. I've done my best not to touch it, so.
Yeah, Stephen, we need to do something with these cables. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the audio interface, but there's something with these mics, these cables, that interface. Not a good match. You literally sneeze, you start getting static.
Well, we'll have to do it then. We'll have to just get it done.
We'll have to address it.
Do it.
It's not great. But in Stephen's situation, certainly not great, because he is currently sitting with a broken boom arm.
Yeah, and I'm not touching it.
And it's sitting, hanging on the little clip. So thankfully it's not Stephen's, it's my mic. But Stephen, yeah, look, it doesn't have to be fluffy and airy because it's a musical. You can do some really deep shit with musicals. It's just meaning it's going to be told via the medium of music.
Yeah.
And look, I'm really excited to see where they go with this. And bringing in Gaga, she can sing, she is a performer, she is a bit of an eccentric anyway, as you did allude to. And look, she's turned into quite a good actress over the years. House of Gucci is the one that springs, or Gucci, was it House of Gucci, I think?
House of Gucci, yeah.
House of Gucci with Adam Driver. Obviously, A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
She is becoming a decent actress, so it's going to be intriguing to see how she takes this on. It's just going to be nice to have a fresh take on the character. After years of Margot Robbie, as much as I love Margot Robbie,
she was good,
and her take on Harley has been iconic. It's going to be good to see a different take in a different universe where it is grittier, grimier, and more human.
Yeah.
And the madness of these two characters, because one of
human, ain't you?
Well, we've not seen that, Steve. We've briefly seen it in Suicide Squad, was it? With the two were together, then they weren't.
Yeah.
The Joker and Harley. It's going to be interesting to see them exploring those two characters, going down that path of madness, because. In the Arkham Asylum games, they're fucking crazy. They're egging each other on. One's as bad as the other. And they are deeply in love in this sort of mad, symbiotic way.
I think the fact that Todd Phillips has not decided to take the character into the Doctor role will kind of speed things up in terms of their relationship and their sort
because also she's...
where they are in their own heads. Because if it was the Doctor, it would have to see the sort of deterioration of her spiraling into that madness, and it seems like they're just cutting that short and just getting right into it.
And he's not that kind of Joker, is he? He's not Mark Hamill sort of...
No, he's not a madman.
Campy, demonic laugh, master sort of manipulator Joker. He's just a guy who's been broken down by society.
Yeah.
And it's much better if she's a patient and she's a similar figure who's been forgotten by society, and the two of them find this sort of common agreement and then go down this path of madness. The fact that they're burning Arkham down, though, or Arkham down, that's interesting, because he had a following at the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
He'd inspired...
Do you know the word Arkham is actually in Mark Hamill's name? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
That is, yeah.
He's played an iconic version of Joker, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just a shame he's not a bit taller.
Yeah.
And he's not quite as good a actual actor as he is a voice actor.
Oh, he's fantastic as a voice actor.
Or he could have been one of the greatest Jokers of all time.
Yeah.
He still is.
He technically is, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he definitely is, John. But we're going to move on to our final topic, and it's our music section. Music news. We'll have to get a wee jingle going on there. Get some backing singers and all that. But Davies, John.
Talks brotherly brawls.
Yeah.
There's a tongue twister
for
this
is coming in from music-news.com. I've never been on this website in my life, John, but
this is why I don't get music.
Kind of gave us a little excuse to talk about the Kinks, because we normally try and keep it current. Well, it's got to be something that we're very comfortable in talking about, and we've done that recently. But
did you not see me speaking about the Grammys?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Not long ago.
Yeah, you were right, John. You got a lot.
I was right with
quite
you
did better than I could, put it that way.
I got a lot right because it was common sense.
Yeah.
Harry Styles is massive.
Yes.
Adele was massive.
Yeah.
Beyonce is massive.
Whether you like it or not, they are.
Yeah, they are.
So-
And just common sense tells you they're going to carve it up between those three.
I'm going to talk about a massive band, John, from the 1960s all the way right through to the 1990s, the Kinks.
Yes.
I'm going to actually just read it off the screen rather than tilt my head in case my cap hits this microphone, which I know it will. But yeah, the Kinks used to regularly fight before stepping on stage. Brothers Ray and Dave Davies formed the iconic British rock band in 1963, and they became a successful all over the world thanks to the hits like You Really Got Me, Waterloo Sunset, Lola, and All Day and All of the
Here's
Night.
a fun shit fact for you, Stephen. King Charles's coronation coming up in about a month or so.
Okay.
He has picked the Kinks song Waterloo Sunset as one of, I think, about 20 odd songs during his coronation
I
party.
think it's fair to say Ray's going to be there then.
Yeah.
I think he's into all that. So
Waterloo Sunset. And
what,
I thought,
what a song.
and I thought I'm not a
song.
huge fan of the royal family. I think that's a fucking understatement. I'm more of a Republican myself. And I'm not a huge fan of Charles as an individual. But you've got to give him due. He's picked a good fucking song there.
Yeah.
That is
But
iconic.
this is all about the relationship over the years, John.
Yes.
The siblings.
Tempestuous.
Relationship. And guitarist Dave, 76 now, admits they
he's
would
young.
often come to blows before their shows. Dave is quoted by the Daily Star newspaper as saying, "I'm a very emotional person," and Ray is more reticent about his feelings, but he was working it all out all the time. We did boxing, and boxing was good for training for the Kinks. Keep your guard up. A carefully placed right jab. I wish it had been more flowers, loveliness. No, you don't. That would take an element away from you. But yeah, singer Ray, 78, echoed his siblings' comments when he previously spoke about their infamous 1965 gig at the Capitol Theatre in Cardiff, which saw drummer Mick Avery lose his temper and attack David with a cymbal in front of thousands of Welsh fans.
And running out.
After Dave kicked over his drum kit, he told Wales Online they could have been that could have been the end of the Kinks right there. It really had a tremendous emotional effect on me. He said, we were just kids. Don't forget, Dave and Mick were just 17, 19 back then. That's crazy. And forever having a go. I just guessed that on the evening Mick decided to do something about it, and that meant cutting my brother's head off.
I mean, reading that, I read the actual Kinks.
John, the best part about this is, Ray said it. Yeah, the police wanted to do Mick for attempted murder. John,
You think of a
symbol.
symbol, it's a big, heavy, solid piece of metal. And if you hit someone's head with that, man, that is going to do fucking
But the
serious
cops
damage.
turned around and said, "Mr. Avery, we've got 5,000 witnesses." This was after Mick tried to deny it all. But John, this is something that I love about this band.
Yeah.
Now, see the book you're referring to.
Yeah.
Did you read that before we went to see Ray Davies? Was that after?
That was after.
Was it after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it may have been before.
I can't remember.
Maybe
It was over a decade ago now.
It
We
was,
went
yeah.
to see Ray. A phenomenal night, full
Very
of
close.
energy, and
Very
it would
close
have
to
been.
him.
You're talking about, he's 78 now. It would have been about
67, yeah.
68 then.
Yeah, it was 2012, Stephen.
Yeah.
I remember exactly when it was because it was about 2 weeks after I got my driver's
That's
licence.
right, yeah. You drove your Mini
I
into the city centre.
drove my Mini into the city centre and went and seen Ray Davies. They were good
what
fucking
amazing
times.
night, yeah. It was a great
Yeah.
venue as well. John, one of the things I picked up from that gig was just the energy the guy had at 67.
Yeah.
Jumping about, he had jeans, trainers on, and he was flying about that stage as if he
Warding
was
off
40 years younger.
intruders.
Yeah, that half-wit that was sitting next to us, yeah. We were talking about him
Seen
the
the
other
Kinks
day,
now?
man. Yeah. No, you've not.
You've not seen the Kinks.
You've seen one of them.
You've not seen Peter Quayle because he's dead.
Yeah.
I always want to say Quiff. I don't know why. Quaif. Was it Peter Quaif? Quayle? Peter Quayle because it's
Yeah.
Quayle's
You're
the
thinking there's a galaxy.
Peter Quayle, Mick Avery weren't there, and neither was Dave Davies.
Yeah.
Although strangely enough, someone at that concert was shouting, "Where's Dave?
Yeah,
Dave Davies.
Dave Davies. Yeah.
Dave Davies." It's Davies.
I don't think that he's been back to Glasgow since
He's
then.
not.
I don't blame him.
No. This is
Doesn't
a man
need
that gets shot in New Orleans, for fuck's sake.
John, I remember that guy that was standing next to us at the gig. It would get down onto the stage behind Ray, and you can imagine if you've been shot in New York City and you nearly died from it, you are going to be quite nervous with people behind you. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And that
You'd be
guy
nervous with someone
he
behind you, period.
was such a Kinks fan. He would have known
Yeah.
about that bit of story from Ray Davies and
He was a fool.
his life. Yeah, he was just an idiot.
He
Absolute
was.
idiot.
But Stephen, yeah, look, one of the best things about, I mean, most bands who have been successful and they have brothers in and about, I don't know, I mean, I think it is the same with the Beach Boys. Sort of family setup, a lot of wars,
Yeah.
turmoil,
Brothers, yeah.
fighting, estrangements going on. Oasis is the other one that comes off the top of your head. And obviously Noel and Liam haven't been speaking for the better part of a decade.
Ross.
Fell out, throwing guitars at each other, trying to kill each other.
The Everly brothers didn't speak for years as well.
Yeah, there's something about when families get together in an artistic way, it creates brilliance because the vocals and stuff, there's something about the harmonics when it's family that's involved. They're in the similar sort of range, and it sounds great. And magic does tend to happen because it's real brotherhood and they're going on that journey together. But then when it goes wrong, it's horrific. It didn't really go wrong to that scale with the Kinks, but having read the book, many incidences of fighting, bullying. I don't mean to laugh, but poor Quaife had to go and work in his wife or girlfriend's family restaurant in Sweden.
Yeah.
He gave up the whole rock and roll thing because of those two constantly going after him, bullying, niggling. And look, you could say they were horrific human beings for doing that, but I think that's just the way that fame works. When you're catapulted into fame, and everyone knows who you are, and you've got all this sort of success and money, and you think you're God's gift, sometimes it brings out the egomaniac in people, and certainly Ray was an absolute fucking perfectionist.
Yeah.
Everything had to be perfect. People talk about Paul McCartney.
He was like a Paul McCartney.
He was Paul McCartney on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Paul had John to check him, and George would stand up and say, "No, bitch, that's enough." There was no one to check him.
Yeah.
Dave was off fucking buying stuff out of shops and into his fashion, hitting in everything in the bars.
A dedicated
follower of fashion. We seek him there, we seek him here, we seek him there. His clothes are loud, but never square. He was out doing that. There was no one to really check Ray. So he's that's also where that happened. He was
always been
picking on
something about Dave I've always liked though. I don't know what it is. I think it's his presence more than anything. Any video I've watched or any sort of live stage recording that's on YouTube or whatever, I kind of focus on Dave just to see what he's doing. He's quite a naughty guy, you know. He does things behind Ray's back and stuff like that, and he just seems differently attuned to his brother at times as well. There's a certain seriousness about Ray than there is with Dave. Is the clown, isn't he? Yeah,
the death of the
you
clown.
Know, and he's just got a bit more sort of, he's more jovial than Ray. But Ray is the genius within the band, no doubt about it. But as terms of guitarist, John, Dave Davies is definitely one of the greatest guitarists to come out of the UK. I don't think he's spoken enough about, you know, people talk about...
There's a lot of people say that he didn't do the actual solos to all the day and all the night, and what was the other one, You Really Got Me? Yeah. It says that he get taught You Really Got Me, someone else did it, showed him how to play it, and then he just done a shiter version for all the day and all the day and all the night. That's the name of the song, isn't it?
Elvis's guitarist on that song, you know, Elvis was thinking he wasn't going to come back round. I think that about Dave when he was doing all day and all the night. I can't remember the guitarist's name for Elvis.
Oh, Scotty Pippen, he's a fucking basketball player. Scotty Moore.
Scotty Moore, yeah. And the song was Too Much, wasn't it?
Too Much.
When he did the solo, and I think Elvis was getting concerned he's not coming.
No, Elvis was laughing at him.
He can't come back round.
He was laughing at him because he knew he'd lost. He knew he'd lost his way in the solo, and he's like, "How are you going to get out of this one, bitch? Because we're continuing this song, but you get back."
But you get that with Ray as well, don't you? And all day and all the night, you're thinking, I don't think he's going to get back on track here.
That was what that band was like back then. It was raw energy. They were different to anything that was out. They were different to the Stones, who were more bluesy and just balls to the wall crazy. Even then, they were certainly different to the Beatles, who were a little bit more poppy at that point. And the sort of darlings of the girls back then, they were this sort of off kilter, and they've always been off kilter. Even the stuff they were wearing, the Beatles were suited and booted. They had these sort of gentleman's jackets, didn't they?
I think it's fair to say, yeah. I mean, it was almost like velvet, sort of frilly.
They were off kilter, but that was their unique selling point.
I think they're probably my second favourite band to come out of the UK. Beatles been number one, Kinks been number two.
I mean, Steve, people going about the Stones. In terms of bands and songwriting output, I think Ray Davies is probably third or fourth best songwriter the UK's produced in the last 60 years.
I would say
you could put David Bowie up there,
and
then also Lennon and McCartney, that's free, and you could probably argue that Davies is every bit as good, if not better, than Bowie. In terms of the different kinds of songs they're putting out, the raw rock and roll stuff in the 60s, developing into completely fucking doing like stage play stuff.
The Village Green stuff.
Village Green stuff, full on orchestras. And then Waterloo Sunset and stuff, that was on the Village Green.
And then the 1980s, they were doing a lot of synth stuff
Yeah.
as well.
Just constantly changing the sound, constantly evolving. And in the sea of absolute carnage behind the scenes, madness, as you do, they allude to in this article.
I know they had a few lineups, didn't they? Different lineups, but
Yeah, little
the
bassist.
original lineup for me was probably their sort of, that was the peak point, I think, in terms of their history.
But still, a band absolutely full of turmoil and troubles and self-doubt, reading the book, always concerned about whether they were being left behind, whether they were done, can they release another single. You speak about dedicated follower of fashion, that was in a point I think in their history when they had, I think there was like a good couple of months had passed since they'd put a single out and people thought they were done. They'd
Crazy,
drop that and it bang goes to like number 1 or number 2 and they're back again. And that was just constantly fraught with anxiety, constantly fraught, but really different to the likes of the Beatles.
I think Ray was quite a sensitive guy as well, and I think him meeting John Lennon on, just before they were going on, and Lennon going on about the dandruff on his shoulders to sort of put that doubt in him. That's classic Lennon.
Yeah, I was just reading the Tom Jones one.
But then,
That's
we
what
heard
Lennon was like.
that Ray said that he'd heard that, I think it was round about 67, Lennon and some of his entourage were in a disco and they were playing, what was that one? Wonderboy.
Yeah.
Constantly on a loop. Just kept asking for it to play. Loved the song, so
probably on LSD at the time.
Great song.
Can you imagine? Being
Yeah.
on acid and listening to that. On
John,
a loop.
I remember sleep deprived with my firstborn. I didn't have a lot of sleep, and that song was a wormhole in my head, and I couldn't get out.
I've had that with the Kinks before. The likes of sitting by the riverside. All my friends were there. Just random little album songs. Sunny afternoon stuck in my head at 4 in the morning.
Big fat mama.
Big fat. I've got a big fat mama trying to break me.
She broke you.
Looping.
Mentally broke you.
That's the way my brain works.
Yeah.
It doesn't loop the whole song. It's sections of a song.
Yeah,
And it loops it to the point where if I hear this one more time, I'm going to be fucking Joker. I'm going to start donning paint and just fucking creating anarchy in the outer world, the greater world, the public, if you like. But yeah, that's the beauty of the Kinks. Little songs, great iconic songs, the likes of Lola.
Love Starstruck. Love that song. I love the video for that.
There's so many fucking iconic songs they've released, but I always feel the mark of a great band is the ones with brilliant filler stuff in the album. That's why the Beatles for me are the greatest of all time, because there ain't a weak song. You can name maybe 3 bad songs in the whole discography, 3 or 4 bad songs.
And they're not that bad.
They're not that bad, they're just not for me.
Yeah.
The Kinks are the same. You go through their albums and the little filler songs are brilliant. It's the same with the likes of Blur. Little side songs. I'm not putting Blur on the same level as the Kinks and the Beatles, but it's certainly the last 30 years one of the best bands. Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. I mean, I think they've been described as the Beatles of the 90s, but I think Damon Albarn's come out actually says that he thinks they're the Kinks of the 90s. Just off kilter, doing something different. And the little songs, London, what was it called? That one in fucking Part Life, there's one, London something. Bad Head.
Yeah.
Just brilliant little songs that have got great re-listenability. That's what makes a great band for me, and that's ultimately why, despite all the carnage, that probably made them a more tighter band.
I think so, yeah.
Beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Nearly killing each other. I mean, reading that story about Mickey Avery throwing the cymbal, I was howling.
You told me about it, John. I didn't know
It's
about
the kind
it.
of fucking thing I'd do. If someone was pissing me off, I'd have a breaking point and just say, you know what, you're fucking getting it.
And just that.
And then run out the building, thinking he'd murdered the person, nearly getting arrested, and then they're back together and they're making magic happen. That's how fucking greatness is produced.
That's how bands work.
That's how bands work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be a bit fucking crazy to make the magic fall. Well, Matt's going round it up. That is going round it up. We've got a couple of episodes of a TV show that we are currently watching.
Yes.
To react to. It's a big secret.
Yeah, big secret.
Daisy Ridley famously says in The Force Awakens, "Who are you?" "I'm no one." Big secret.
From one Ray to another.
From one Ray to the other. Yeah. I mean, they could have just did that in the sequel trilogy. Just made Ray almost like Folly I Do. 2 Rays in one head. Schizophrenic Ray. And it would have made more fucking sense than that sequel trilogy. Just Finn's a sort of pin, as I used to call him, as a figment of her imagination chasing her. I mean, he basically just chased her around the whole fucking trilogy. He was a pointless character that made him useless. I felt so bad for John Boyega.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with I was going with totally lost the fucking
Big secret.
big secret. It's a big secret. What is your thoughts on the topics we have touched upon on this show tonight? What was your thoughts on John Wick Chapter 4? Have you seen it? What's your thoughts on a potential spin-off movie secretly in the works? What's your thoughts on Ballerina? Anything John Wick universe related? Share your thoughts down below. Should it happen? Should they stick to just Keanu and the likes of, I was about to say Winston Duke. I am obsessed with Winston Duke. Ian McShane, he plays Winston. His second name's not Duke. Should they just stick to that? The Bowery King? Characters like that, should they make it more complex? Share your thoughts about that down below. Share your thoughts about Joker 2 changing up the origin story of Harley Quinn. She's not the doctor, she's a patient. What's your thoughts on the inn? Yeah. What's your thoughts? It's like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Funny enough in Gladiator. Deciding whether people live or not. Share your thoughts on the set photos on Joker 2. Should it be a musical? Are you looking forward to it? Finally, the Kinks. The madness within, the brotherly brawls. Try saying that when you're drunk. I'm sure it's no problem for most people in the world. But for a Scotsman, we should be able to roll over ours. But it seems a real fucking problem for me. Brotherly brawls. Anything you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comment section. That's the place to put it. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Do the same thing over on Twitch. Follow button, notifications button over there. What's left to be said is thank you very much to Biffa for coming in. Appreciate it. And until next time, me and Steve are done.